Ryan Little.
Japan.
Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Valerie and today I have a DIY pleated skirt tutorial. When I made this skirt, I was inspired by MIU MIU skirt, but I wanted to make something a little bit more wearable. Creating the skirt is different from creating a regular pleated skirt because of the pockets and fly front. And we will also do the pleats a little differently. So you won't need a lot of fabric for the skirt. For example, I bought 1.5 meters wide and 0.5 meter long fabric, and that was enough for me. So it comes out pretty cheap. So if you guys want to know how to make the skirt, then just keep watching. To make the skirt, you will need fabric. I recommend you to take a suit fabric, so that it holds the pleats better. You will also need lining fabric, fusible interfacing, zipper, and button. First, you need to measure your waist in the place where you want your skirt to sit. I want my skirt to be a little bit low-waisted. I got 80 centimeters. To these 80 centimeters, I add 2 centimeters for ease. This skirt will consist of 3 parts, 1 back and 2 front. Let's start with making front parts. First, I draw a line 30 centimeters long. This will be the length of my skirt without a waistband. When you choose the length of the skirt, keep in mind that there should be seam allowances at the bottom and top. There will also be a waistband. If you are not sure what length you want, make the skirt longer. After fitting, the excess can be cut off. Now divide your waist circumference by 2, and then divide by 2 again. To this value, we need to add seam allowances, 1 cm on one side, 1.5 cm on the other. On one front part, there will be 2 pleats of 6 cm, so we add another 12 cm. And this will be the width of one front part. I mark the seam allowances on each side. Now we need to decide on the width of the pleats. Here's what I suggest. If your waist circumference is about 80 centimeters, then make pleats 8 centimeters wide. If 90 centimeters, then 9 centimeters, and so on. I add a marking space at 8 centimeters, starting from the middle. Next I mark 6 centimeters. This value is the same for everyone. Again 8 centimeters and again 6 centimeters. To make the pleats, fold the fabric right sides together so that the 6 centimeters marking are touching and pin it down. And I do the exact same process with the second part. But now I'm starting to mark from the other side, so that my parts are mirrored. Now let's move on to the back part. Divide the waist circumference by 2. At the back we will have 4 pleats, so we add 24 centimeters. And to this value we also add seam allowances of 1 centimeter on each side. Now find the middle and mark 8 centimeters from it, then 6 centimeters, and so on. And we form the pleats in the same way as on the front parts. This is how it should look like. Note that the pleats should look in opposite directions from the middle. Now add a 4 cm marking going down the skirt on every fold. And then just sew all of the pleats in place. After that, iron the pleats all the way down the skirt. Now for the pockets. This is my pocket pattern. You can make your pockets longer or wider. For my skirt lengths, I made such pockets so that they were visible for a couple of centimeters from under the skirt. Then I cut everything out. And I make 1 cm snips at a distance of 16 cm from the top, both on the hip yoke and on the pocket. I also cut out a pocket shield. And now I finished the edges of the pocket shields, but this is not completely necessary. Do it if you want. Then I place my pocket shield on the hip yoke and stitch that down. Now I take the front part and cut off the same triangle from it as I cut off from the pocket. Now, to attach the pocket to the actual skirt, place the pocket rices together with the skirt and sew along the edge. Flip the pocket right side out and top stitch the edge of that pocket, so it can lay nice and flat. To close up my pocket, I'm going to be using the French seam. So place the pocket rices together with the hip yoke and then just sew with 5 mm as the seam allowance. After that, you want to take your scissors and trim that seam allowance to be really thin and then just flip the pocket inside out. And then you're gonna do the same thing and sew the edges of that pocket with 5 mm as the seam allowance to complete your French seam. The last step for the pockets is to just baste everything together. Now we're going to move on to the fly front. I cut off my fly facing and my fly shield. You can see the sizes on the screen. And I've interfaced them already. And now I'm going to fold my fly shield in half, right sides together, and stitch along the bottom edge. Then I trim off the excess and flip my fly shield right side out and press it. Now I'm just going to finish the straight edge of the fly shield and the curved edge of the fly facing with my overlocker. I also finished the inner seams of my front parts, and now I put them right sides together and mark where my zipper will end. After that, I sew them together with 1.5 cm as the seam allowance. First, I choose a wide stitch on the machine and sew up to my mark. I do this so that it can be easily removed later. I need this stitch just to iron everything evenly. After my mark, I make a back tack and then sew with a regular stitch. Then I iron the seam. And now I can remove this seam before my mark. Now take your zipper and place it face up on the fly shield. Place the stopper of your zipper exactly where I have my zipper stopper. And then, once you sew the waistband on, you'll be able to trim that excess zipper off. After that, put your fly shield and the zipper together with the skirt as I show and make a stitch. I recommend using a zipper foot for that. And then we attach the fly facing to the other side. After that, I iron everything out. Now sew down the zipper to a fly facing as I show. But before that, check whether everything stays nice and flat on the front side. Now I mark out where I want my top stitching to be. And then I'm just going to top stitch along the line I marked. Now we can finally connect our front and back parts together. I also finished the hem. I usually do it at the very end, but I was sick of this following threads. I overlock the edge and then turn it up once and stitch it about 1 cm from the edge. You can either turn the hem twice and then stitch it, or just leave it unfinished. Now we're gonna go onto the waistband. I draw a rectangle with a width of 10 cm and a length equal to the circumference of my waist, plus 10 cm. I'm making a waistband a little bit longer, just so I have enough room to make a clean stitch on the edge. You'll see what I'm talking about later on. Then I prep the waistband by attaching my inner facing by just fusing it together with an iron. We also need to make bell loops. I cut out a 10 by 10 cm square, and now I just fold it in quarters so that it can be folded nicely. Then you just want to sew along the edges on both sides of each bell loop. I place the bell loops at about same distance from each other. Then I like to just stay stitch those bell loops in place. And you can finally trim that excess zipper off. Now I place my waistband at the waist seam with about 4 cm of it hanging off the edge, and attach it with my overlocker. After that, I fold in the half rices together and stitch a little line up the edge. Then I clip off the excess and turn it right side out. And of course, I repeat this process on the other side as well. I hand basted the waistband to the pants, and now I'm top stitching it around all of those edges of the waistband. To finish off the belt loops, I sew the belt loop down, exactly where it is, about 1 cm from the waistband, so it has more space for a belt. And after that, I fold the belt loop up and fold it in, place it down, and sew it right on the edge. Then I cut off the excess. Lastly, we're just going to add our closures. I choose to add the button and the buttonhole. And our skirt is done.
Ryan Little.
I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial. I hope it made sense to you. If you like this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. You can also subscribe to my Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!